welcome to your online yoga class today. So sorry I can't be there in person, but I'm happy that I'm able to make this video for you guys so that you can do it at home, and you can even do it more than once as well. So the movement we'll be going through is pretty much the same as what we do in class. So you'll be familiar with a lot of the different sequences today, and just do your best and hold those stretches to whatever position you can, okay? So even if my demonstrations are not fully what you guys are capable of right now, just hold it to whatever your body can do and make sure you're feeling the stretch in the right way. So I'm going to verbally instruct, as well as just playing a nice Zen music in the background, and we're going to do it together. Okay, starting off, feet hip width apart, balancing your weight through your big toe, your little toe, and your heel. Bringing the weight to the outsides of the feet. We're avoiding any sinking inwards, keeping everything nice and open, supporting the arches of your feet, and taking a gentle rock forward and back. Very slow and subtle to start with. Rocking. Breathing into your tummy. Down to a nice slow and steady pace, inhaling deep and exhaling slowly and fully. Start rocking a little bit higher. See if you can bring your weight completely out of your heels and then completely out of your toes. So you're raising forward and back. Letting your arms just hang dead by your sides, heavy. Just focusing on warming up the ankles and centering our balance. Starting to rise a little bit higher, rocking back, catching yourself before you go off balance. Just test it out. Rising up even higher now, right up to your toes. Slow it down a little bit, rising up, little hold at the top, and lower, rocking back, lifting those toes off the ground, rising back up, hold, keeping your ankles straight in line with your heels. So if you find yourself doing this, try and correct it and pull those ankles together. Breathing deep. Hold. And release. Now this time we're going to rise up onto the toes, sink the heels down, and then bend into the knees. So we'll do that in a steady motion to start with. Holding each, rising up and hold, lower down, bend slowly. Now hold at the bottom here. Keep your knees open in line with your hips and your ankles. There's no sinking inwards. Keep them open, lined up, stretching through the back of your calves and your Achilles now. Rising up. Onto the toes, one more time. Holding at the top. Lower. And bend, stretching the back of your calves. Keeping your back straight for now. And rise. Now we're going to bend into the knees again. This time collapsing forward, sticking your hips out the back. Lowering down, resting the back of your hands on the ground, dropping your head towards the ground. Drop the back of your neck as well so it's nice and long and heavy. Breathing deep into your back. And rising up slow. I'm going to demonstrate that again, facing to the side this time. So we're bending down through the knees, keeping the back straight until we can't bend anymore. Then we're pushing back in the hips, collapsing forward in the tummy, lower down to rest on your thighs, back of the hands on the ground, drop your head. Breathing. Rolling up slow. Take a lift through your chin. Coming back to center. One more. We bend down through the knees, stretching the Achilles. Collapse forward, drop your tummy, rest your hands, and release the tension in your neck. Let your head bob around, freely hanging from your shoulders. Deep breaths. Rising up slow. Restacking. Lifting through your chin. And back to center. Now we're going through our sun salutations. I want you to move to the front edge of your mat so that when we step back into our lunge, we're still on it. So reaching up, palms facing outwards, feet hip width apart, reaching to the sky, touching your fingertips together, stretching out through your abdomen. Okay, ready, reaching up, breathing in. Then open your palms, pressing downwards, keeping your back straight and your legs straight, grabbing onto the back of your legs as you roll down, keeping everything straight if you can, and then connecting your flat hands to the ground. Drop your head at the last minute. So we want straight legs and flat hands on the ground if you can. From here, we're stepping back into our lunge. Nice deep lunge. Lifting up through your chest and lifting through your back knee. Don't let the sinking happen. Keep it nice and tight. Stepping the other foot back in. Bringing yourself to downward dog. Pressing those heels towards the ground and press your chest towards your thighs. We're going to transfer the weight through to the hands now into our push-up position. So readjust hand or feet position if you need to. So we're in a nice flat line here, holding strong through your core. Then lowering down slowly, bending through the elbows, control your body as you decline. And last minute, release to the ground, tucking toes under, stretching up into cobra. Lift your chin, stretch out through your core. Try and keep your glutes and your abs tight in this position to support your lower back. And lower, breathing out. We'll push back into child's pose. You can open your knees out slightly wider in this position and really push your chest down towards the ground and rest your head. Stretching, you're pulling in two directions. Your arms are pulling away and your hips are pulling back. So try and feel that feeling there. Deep breaths into your back. Now reaching one arm, threading through, resting your shoulder and your head on the ground, looking out underneath your arm towards the hand that's reaching on the ground. Try and sit your hips back as close to your heels as possible. Stretching here. Recenter and reaching to the other way. Shoulder and head on the ground. And recenter. Now coming up to hands and knees into our tabletop position. You can readjust your hands and knees until you feel that they are exactly directly underneath your hips and shoulders. Flat tabletop. Into cat and cow. So we stretch up for cow pose, arching into your back and lifting your tailbone, lifting your chin, and then curving your spine into cat. Trying to stretch your shoulder blades open as much as you can, tucking your pelvis forward, dropping the top of your head. And again, stretching up. Cow. And cat. Under, tucking. And release back to neutral spine. We're tucking the toes under into downward dog once again. Stretching up. See if you can stretch a bit further this time. You may feel your flexibility has improved just through doing those last few stretches. Get those heels to touch the ground if you can. Now stepping your foot back into the lunge. Lifting through your chest. Bringing the other foot in to close. Straighten out those legs, flat hands on the ground again. And release the knees to roll up slowly. Now we're going to repeat that sequence on the other side. For the camera's sake, I'm going to face this way now. Just remember to use the other leg for your lunges. So reaching up, sun salutation, reach, fingertips touching, looking up through the center of your fingers, stretching into your tummy, stretching back, pressing palms open and down. We've got our flat back, straight legs, holding on to the back of your thigh and sliding down until you reach your flat hands to the ground. Drop your head. Taking your step back into your lunge. Make sure it's the other leg this time around. Lifting up through your chest, keep your hands connected to the ground, keep your back knee lifted. Stepping other foot back to downward dog. Press those heels to the ground, press your chest towards your thighs, so you're trying to get in that pike position. A nice triangle shape. Bring the weight forward into our push-up position. Holding strong. Tuck your pelvis under, engage your core. Lowering down slowly. Control through elbows and your core. And release. Tuck the toes under, stretching up to cobra. Glutes tight, abs And release down. Tuck your chin as you stretch back into child's pose. Resting your head on the ground. Try and get your hips close to your heels as you stretch back. Now stretching under one arm. Looking out underneath your arm towards the hand that's reaching. Remember pulling with your hands but trying to sit back onto your heels at the same time. And other side. Stretch through the center first, then reset, stretching other way. And recenter. One more stretch here. Remember to breathe. Rising up, tabletop position. Hands below shoulders, knees below hips. Arching into your back for cow pose. Hollow your back, lift your tail. Lift your chin. And tucking under cow pose. Chin down, pelvis forward, shoulder blades open. One more into cow pose. And cat. Tuck under. Back to neutral spine. Tucking the toes, we're going back into downward dog, pressing up and back. Stepping your foot forward into your lunge. Lift your chest. And stepping the back foot in to close. Straight legs, flat hands. Relax the knees as you roll up. Okay, coming now into our warrior pose. We're starting with feet wide and toes pointing directly forward. See how wide you can get them, lifting up through your knees, locking into your thighs, standing up tall. So we start with twisting one foot to face directly outwards, bending into that knee, and raising arms up to shoulder height. Try and look out over your front arm, keep your chin in line with your shoulder. Doesn't mean it's touching your shoulder, it just means that you've rotated through your cervical spine to line it up with that front arm. Pressing down into the stretch. Take a deep breath in, breathe out, and sink lower. One more time, breathing in, and sink lower. Holding here. Releasing your arm to rest on your thighs. You reach overhead. Try and get your arm towards your ear. Keep that hip down. There is a tendency when you rest to let that hip go. Don't let that happen. Keep it sinking low through your hip flexors. Stretching over. You've got the brace of your elbow on your knee now to give you that extra support. To extend the stretch, if you feel you want a more advanced version, find your hand to the ground beside your foot and stretch long. Breathing. Now extend that front leg into triangle pose. We're reaching our top hand, palm facing the back, and looking up towards it. So again, rotating through your spine. Dropping that arm forward, coming into your lunge. So just like in our first set, we're in our deep lunge, but this time, I want you to find your balance with your body just resting on that leg. See if you can get your hands off the ground. And we're reaching up, palms facing towards each other, into our warrior pose. Sinking down through your hips. Reaching those arms up. Then open the front arm, reach down the back leg, and up and over with the top. Keep it sinking low. And releasing back down with your body. Folding into the front. Recenter your feet, they're nice and straight. Now we're reaching to the back of your mat or the back of the floor behind where you are. Release the knees as you roll up. Slowly. To repeat on the other side. So turning your foot out to the side, bending down through your knee, lifting arms up, looking out over that shoulder. Pressing down. Deep breath in and exhale. Sinking lower. One more breath in and sink. Resting your elbow on your knee, reaching up and over. Stretching, keeping your arm beside your ear. Keep your hip lifted down. Holding here. Now to extend that stretch, find your hand to the ground, stretching deep into your leg. Reaching this arm nice and close to your ear as well. Stretching up into triangle pose now. Reaching your hand, your palm to face the back, looking up towards it. Keeping both legs straight. And coming down into your deep lunge, balancing your body weight over top of your knee. Palms facing together, coming up. And stretching down into your lunge. Keep that back knee lifted. Front arm reaching up and over. Top arm reaching back. Stretching into your core. And releasing down. Squaring up those toes to the front again, reaching to the back of your mat. Drop your head. Drop the knees to roll up. Now walking your feet in, heels and toes. Then meet your heels together. Get ready for our balance set.